Hello YouTube coin collectors and stackers. Today we're going to be doing a double unboxing. We have a return from PCGS here. This is the Fire Survivor coin, and we're going to talk about that. And we also have our Laser Privy American Silver Eagle. So we're going to look at both of these today. But before we get started, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate it. And as always, thank you for watching. So I think we'll get started with the I don't know which one. You know what, maybe we'll get started with the Morgan. So I'm going to post a link in the description below to the video where I show, essentially the post Crackout of this. So this is an 1884 Carson City Morgan dollar that was in a fireproof safe and was pulled out of the safe after the fire, as you can see, and it was melted in here. The coin itself had melted plastic on it. It had smoke damage and some other sort of nasty things about it. So this was an interesting project for me because I needed to see if it would straight grade, and it's hard to see there. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see, but this was originally a 64 plus, you can see there, and the hope is that after I did all of the conservation work on it, or restoration work, or whatever you'd like to call it, some people call it cleaning, but whatever you call it, I have to do it in a way that does not harm the coin and allows it to get a straight grade. And the most difficult part about that was removing the plastic that had melted off of this PCGS slab. And you can see there in particular where a lot of the plastic had collapsed. In these areas of the coin, where you see that hole right here and up here, this is where the coin was most impacted by the melting plastic and where the smoke got in, like particularly through this hole. So let's take a look. And again, the link is going to be down below if you want to see what this coin originally looked like. And again, there's only one coin in here today, and let's take a look here. So this is post restoration, post PCGS. Now this is originally a 64 plus, and now particularly on this one, the smoke damage was really evident around the $1 and $1 down at like K7 down there, K7, K8, sort of spread up in this fashion here from that hole in the slab. So that was fairly easy to remove. A little bit of acetone and then a little bit of essentially MS70, and then I had to give it one quick dip in easiest to kind of get the last of it off. The hard part was the plastic. So on the obverse here, there was plastic melted on the cheek, and there was plastic melted down here around the date. And that was very, very tricky. That was mostly done with acetone over a period of a couple of days, just kind of soaking the coin and letting that plastic break down in there. And that worked well. I was able to get it off without damaging the surface of the coin. And let's see if PCGS agreed. So, of course, I already know, as you guys all know, because I got an email with the grade, but you're about to find out, and it's a MS64. So that's really good. I'm happy that I was able to do responsible restoration and conservation work on this coin and get it back into a nice unmelted holder. Could I resubmit it maybe and get it back in the 64 plus? Honestly, I think that, the treatment, particularly the dip, although I only dipped it for probably 3 seconds, just real quick, but that probably was enough to take off whatever little bit of frosty frost got it the plus before. But still a big win to be able to restore this coin out of a melted holder with smoke damage and get a straight grade from PCGS. So I'm very, very happy with that coin. So that's a win. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, as they say. So with that out of the way, let's move on to one of the hot new coins. Although I noticed it's back for sale. Still, I think with a household limit of one, and that would be the laser engraved American Eagle. And so, this is all part of the mint, getting updated, doing a whole bunch of stuff with lasers to cut dies. And I don't know if this is the first laser cut coin. I've heard that there may be other ones, but this is the Privy Eagle. And it's amazing to me that these get so much airtime. I mean, it's an American Silver Eagle with a Privy on it, but we've seen what happens when they throw privies on things, like the flowing hair metal, right? They threw a Privy on that, and then Ventures Gibson signs a certificate, and I got one of those, and I'll post that link down in the description below as well. But throwing privies on things seems to be their way of getting these to have some sort of rarity and desirability, make them a little bit different. So here we go. So this is the laser privy mark, as noted there. And we have, still Ventress Gibson on this one. So you're still seeing her name on things, even though there's an acting director now. But obviously they designed this stuff well in the future. Or, well in advance of the future, I should say. Typical clam box, and let's get the eagle out. Now, if you guys remember from my Army Privy Eagle video, one of my viewers pointed out very astutely that there was sadly milk spots on it, particularly around between the R and the T, and a few over by the L. This is a nice, beautiful cameo proof, and just taking a quick look at it, there's of course our good friend the laser privy mark there. I guess it's a privy mark. Looks kind of cool, I suppose. That's about where the Army one is, and I guess where the Marine and Navy one will go. This coin itself looks very, very clean to me. I don't see any milk spots on it. I mean, if you guys see some, please let me know. But I think that the quality of this coin is quite good. It's a very clean looking coin, deep cameo proof, beautiful coin. And I guess that's it, right? That's the laser privy. And these things are selling for a minor premium. They are for sale again at the Mint website. I think it's still household limit of 1, but you can still go pick one up over there. I think I'll keep this one for now and kind of see what happens in the secondary market after it inevitably sells out. It did go offline briefly for a few days when they were making new inventory, as they said, and now it's back. Although interestingly, our 2025 proof set is now no longer being sold, so I don't know if that's out or they need to make more or what's going on with that. And sort of that's that one. We'll put it back in the case here and get them back in the box. And then just sort of as a bonus, dealer called me today and got a book of Franklin's in, and just some real pretty ones. We've got some ones with repunch mint marks on them. There's a 54S with a beautiful RPM on it that's really, really pronounced. Here's just a nice 55. These are all, I'd say they're all choice unk. There's a couple that could be gem. There's a couple I'm thinking about maybe sending to PCGS. All of them have this album toning on the reverse. Some of it pretty pronounced. And what was funny was that in the book itself, the dealer had written a D. So this was, a Whitman album. And I said, well, what's the D on these? And the dealer said, oh, those are the ones that we're going to dip. And I said, oh, no, don't dip them. They have nice album toning on them. And you can see on the back here. And I like this. A nice original surface on this. This has never been effed with when you see them like this. Now, you could dip it off, but the issue is, and you see like with that CC that I restored over here, that you need to be so exceedingly careful about what you're doing. So if you look at the CC Morgan and you see the chatter on the cheek there and down the neck, before restoration, that chatter was less pronounced than it is now. So as I was going through and taking the smoke damage off and the plastic off, that required me to move a very thin microscopic layer of metal to essentially make that happen. Nothing that harmed the coin because it was only dip once, but you'd end up exposing things that maybe weren't there before or they were less obvious before. And on these Franklins, when you look at them closely, there's definitely a lot of chatter and scuff and things that I think would be exposed if you were to dip these. But there's quite a nice little collection of them. Oh, that's me dinging the bell. Of them over here. We're not going to look at all of them, just kind of a bonus, but there are just some real nice, pretty frosty ones. And again, they all have the nice album toning on the reverse from sitting in that Whitman album for God knows how long. But all unk, all really nice. I cherry picked them. Many of them you can see the die lines on, which is really nice when you can do that and see those die lines. So that's all I got for you guys today. As always, thanks for watching and happy collecting.